watching at home live, or if you're watching this on tape in the future, you'll notice during roll call how the camera will move around to the people that say that they are here, because we have tried to separate all of the council members properly for the COVID-19 situation. So with that being said, Barbara, can you do roll call, please?
Supervisor Flaherty?
Here.
Councilman Cahill?
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi? Here. Councilman Dean?
Here.
Councilman Abbott?
Here.
Attorney Genesi?
Present.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, our first order of business is the minutes to be considered for approval from the March 5th, 2020 meeting. I make a motion to approve.
Second. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi? Aye. Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye. Okay, next up we have, I think, Councilman Cahill, you reviewed the bills this week?
Yes, I did. I reviewed the bills this morning and I found out to be in order, and I would move that we pay the bills as submitted by the Director of Finance.
Second. Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi? Aye. Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. And I have also reviewed the prepaid warrants as submitted by the Director of Finance and make a motion that we approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi? Aye. Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye. Okay. I do not have in the package, I'm somewhat acting as my own secretary during the COVID-19 situation. But I think we had reviewed the contract for engineering services with Barton and Judas to complete the ready projects. We've already authorized that by the town board. This is the motion to authorize awarding a contract authorized by the Webster Town Board.
I have it. Do you want me to read it?
You do have it.
I do.
Well, thank you, Patty. Could you please?
Town Board to act as lead agency, whereas the Town of Webster is proposing the Town of Webster Ready Funded Infrastructure Improvement Projects located in the Town of Webster, whereas the project has been classified as a Type 1 action. It's defined by State Environmental Quality Review Act, whereas the intent of the Town of Webster Town Board to assume the role of lead agency for purposes of conducting a seeker assessment of the project, and whereas Part 1 of a full environmental assessment form has been completed, reviewed by the Town of Webster Town Board, and will be circulated to all interested and involved agencies for purposes of establishing the Town of Webster Town Board as lead agency in accordance with 6 NYCRR Part 617.6b. Now, therefore, be it resolved and determined that the Town Supervisor of the Town of Webster hereby is authorized to sign Part 1 of the FEAF, page 13, and it is further resolved and determined that the Town of Webster will send Part 1 of the FEAF and associated site figure to the attached list of interested and involved agencies under cover of the Notice of Intent to Establish Lead Agency Letter for purposes of establishing lead agency status under the seeker. And is further resolved that the Town Supervisor of the Town of Webster and the Town Board, together with the Town of Webster Attorney and Barton and LaJudas, are hereby authorized to take all actions, serve all notices, and complete all documents required to give full force and effect to this determination. So I will make that motion.
Second.
Who was it second? Councilman Abbott? Oh, okay, thank you. Councilwoman Cataldi? Aye. Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. Hey, I don't suppose you have the construction inspection services there in your folder.
construction inspection services for the project on Ridge Road. It's within the, it was into the contract with them, and that was a part of the total funding package for the consultants.
What project did you say it was?
The Ridge Road multimodal sidewalk, yeah.
Without a resolution, how are we going to?
Yeah, we're not.
Department of Justice is working under a term contract through us for the services to design and inspect the sidewalk project.
I would still be more comfortable if we actually had the resolution.
I apologize. Do you have your copy with you? I can't find it in my box. All right. I thought I had it.
While we're looking for that, Jeff, we're not prepared tonight to go over the bid for the sidewalk project.
No, two bidders came in. Both were above our estimate, and one had some didn't fail to fill in all the lines in the document. So I think we're going to. The recommendation is that we rebid it.
Okay, but that's something that the board will be
Doing in the future, we have to come up
Yes,
with the timeline,
probably the
and
next,
dates, and things like that.
and just for edification, everybody, the bid was opened here in this room on Tuesday afternoon, March 31st. It was a combination in person. Barb Scott, our clerk, was here. Jeff Benway, Department of Public Works Commissioner, myself. Charlie, I think you were here for that? No. Paul Adams, our finance director. And then it was a combination Zoom, I guess, video conference with the engineers.
Engineers were there,
With the
New York State
developer
Department of
contractors.
Transportation representatives.
The two bidders were also on the call, were they not? Okay. So at that time, the bids were opened, and as Jeff just explained, first and foremost, we only got two bids, and second is that both of them, at least on the base bid, were over what we were anticipating. So, Jeff, I appreciate your preliminary opinion is that we go out for rebid on this, and maybe in a couple of weeks as we discuss this with the board, the fact that I don't even know if they could start working on this, if that would be considered an essential construction project at this point, so we might have time on our side to go and do the rebid. Just some more research for us, Charlie.
Jeff, how high were they?
Just the base bid, the lowest guy was about $90,000 off. Of course, we're talking $1.5 million.
Yeah, it's 90,000 higher
Higher,
than our estimate.
yeah.
And our estimate was prepared, when, a year ago?
Yeah. I just think that the two people that bid apparently had enough work, and I guess everybody else. We advertised it in two different sources. We sent it to Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester.
And Bill, the low bid was, I had in my notes 70,000 over, but that was on the base, not with the adder. And then the higher bid was, I mean, it was significantly higher. I mean, so that's interesting when you get, that type of disparity.
Because they don't need the work.
Right.
No.
I mean, but,
So even if we rebid it,
We're going to have to wait a couple months.
we might want to look at,
Fall.
we might also want to look at what our base was looking at today.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, obviously we're not going to vote on this resolution. We don't have the resolution to hire Barton and LaJudas on this, and I don't know how time sensitive it is at this point when we
This
are
point's
even
not.
into the bid. But I will say I was on a call this afternoon with the Monroe County Town Supervisors Association, and there was some scuttlebutt going on about the bid process on projects projects like this during COVID-19, if there was some rationale to be relaxed on it, because some of the, I would rather not go to that, but it is interesting. It'll be a discussion, I think, for the board because, as you said, Bill, if they don't need to work, what are we going to get when we go back to rebid?
Might be higher.
Yeah. So, but that is a conversation, I guess, for either a workshop or the next formal board meeting, whether it's in this room or a combination of in this room, video conference, teleconference. We'll see. I guess that would be Thursday, April 16th. So.
How was the process taken? You were,
That's what I read.
what are the reasons?
Good.
The process itself from.
The specs are probably not going to change.
I understand that.
Because that's all DOT stuff, so
How long does it take?
the total process takes about a month. So once we get the go-ahead, within a month you get bids and we started construction.
Actually, John, if you remember, we I think on March 5th, we made a resolution and voted on to get it in.
Right.
Because we had to do 3 weeks of advertising for the bid, and I think the fiscal year was ending March 31st, so we were right at the end of getting that 3 weeks in before March 31st. So,
Money's still there, they'll just have to transition,
Something needs to
carry it over.
and send it out, not to hesitate on that.
Yeah.
Get all the paperwork done ahead of time, and then when they open the gates, good to go.
Paperwork's all ready to go, we just got to change the dates on the forms.
the proper move then is make a resolution at table.
Sure.
I agree.
I second.
Yep.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi? Aye. Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Avery?
Aye.
Well, sequentially, I think number 4 on our agenda probably should have followed number 2.
Actually, Mr. Supervisor, our town clerk just pointed out to me that the resolution that I read was probably the resolution for number 4.
And I actually have 2 resolutions. I have one for the project for the sandbar and one for the Lake Road pump station.
Which
2 projects, am I right?
The seeker is all tied into one.
So
What she read was the right seeker for the.
she read the right seeker
For number 4.
Okay. I do have a resolution in my folder that is to intent of the town of Webster to act as the lead agency on this.
Yes.
Which I think
That's the critical thing.
The longer resolution that I have, it's 3 pages?
Yes.
Yep.
4 pages.
It's 2 different resolutions.
Yeah, that's-
Stapled together.
But this one, neither one is actually on our agenda.
No, they're not.
Where's the agenda? The lead agency for the ready projects. Yours is number 4.
This is the one that should have been read.
this right here
Yes.
Single
is
page.
the same
That's
thing
what I did.
as this.
You read the single page one?
I did.
Single page one. Okay, that should cover any infrastructure project.
2 separate projects. That's the Lake Road
I'm
pump
curious.
I know that.
Don't know why we
Right.
can't go there.
And then we have Lake Road, and
It's
then
2
we have well
ones.
commissioning, and then we have this one.
Right.
But they're all,
Those are both, that's the ready ones.
One should cover any infrastructure ready project.
Yes. Plus the lead agent.
so that's that.
That's good.
Cover the 4-page one.
Correct.
So do we need these?
No. Because they're written the same.
So I actually read,
You read 4 back.
I read the resolution for number 4,
Yeah.
for lead agency for the ready projects. Number 2 was the authorization to award a contract for engineering services, which we do not have.
Correct.
So,
Okay.
Do you have figures on that?
can
I thought it
I
was in my box. It's up in my office.
amend, or do we strike it?
We can-
Do you want to ask him if he wants you to go get it while we go do this?
Don't worry about it, since we're on.
What would be the best thing to do for an engineering Genesi?
No, okay.
You did read the resolution, correct, Councilwoman Cataldi? All right, you read the resolution, and you passed a resolution to name the town of Webster and the town board as lead agency for all the ready projects, and that Bart LaJudas happens to be involved in. So I think that you're fine on that.
Okay.
In terms of the items that are listed, there are two, one of which is authorization to award a contract for engineering services, and you all are saying you don't have that resolution, and we're not ready to do that tonight?
Right, correct.
All right.
So we should table that as well.
So the resolution is fine, it's just the title here is incorrect. I think we're going to need to table that one as well. We tabled number 3
We need
already,
to table number 2 as well.
and you should make a motion to table number 2 as well.
All right. I will make,
Just make clear what it is that we're tabling.
yes, I will make a motion to table the authorization to award a contract for engineering services from Barton and LaJudas, PLLC, to complete the ready projects authorized by the Webster Town Board.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill? Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Well, you think I would have a good job as a secretary for how I've organized the meeting so far, or would that be grounds for dismissal?
I think we would have something to write up for your personnel file.
Yes, geez, I wish I could blame this on somebody else, but I just can't figure out who I would blame it on. But this one, hopefully, now Charlie, the fifth one, I think this one is pretty solid. It has been actually a resolution that has been developing over about a 2.5-week period. And it's one for anybody who's watching this live or watching on tape will probably understand how it has been evolving and morphing and changing, because I'm sure everybody has felt in their life that the rules of engagement in the last 2.5 weeks have changed by the minute. So as we approach this proposal and this resolution proposal for the board to vote on, I would preface it by saying that it would not surprise me in the least if we're back here in 2 weeks amending this for whatever things within this process evolve in the next 2 weeks, whether it be federal, state, county mandates, executive orders. Have I missed anything, Charlie?
No, the last paragraph actually states that the aforesaid will be amended as needed and to conform to any future executive orders issued by either the governor, the state, or the county executive.
Okay.
So I think that's the intent. There have been numerous executive orders issued by the governor, and we've had to scramble to respond to those and to comply with those in so much as we could understand what they were.
Right. Well, I will say that as I read this off, prior to the voting, I certainly would appreciate if any of the town board members have questions, comments on this, because it is pretty robust, and like I said, it has been changing by the day. So, Charlie, I know you gave it to me.
I have another copy if you'd like.
I want you to have yours, John. Just want to make sure I... Did you memorize it already?
No, I hear.
I've been bringing in my skull at this point, indelibly.
It's right there. That's okay.
It is. It's right in front. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So here's the resolution being proposed for how
Webster Town Board announcing and setting practices and policies in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And I will say, when this first happened 2.5 weeks ago, we went to the emergency plan at the town, also at the county. And interestingly enough, and this shouldn't surprise anybody, that plan, both countywide and here at the town, and to some extent statewide, had to do with when people had to be brought into a gathering place. If their house, they had been displaced because of floods, ice storms, loss of electricity, things of that nature. So it was very codified and very written up from precedent situations like that you had Red Cross and cots and brought people into the rec center or to the gyms at the schools. COVID-19, first pandemic in the United States in 100 years, is the exact opposite of that. It's pushing people away from each other. And so there is really nothing codified for how to handle that. You couple that with the fact that basically almost every single day something from the county, the governor of the state, federal was coming out that was basically superseding what was said the day before. And I think anybody watching this, the people in the room, would agree that the confusion level and the anxiety level of the community because of those changes has been quite high the last couple of weeks. So, with that being said, and a lot of midnight oil burning and a lot of changes and trying to react on the fly to what the governor has told us, what the president has told us, what the county executive, the county health commissioner has told us, here is the resolution that we are proposing as of April 2nd, 2020, in how Webster practices and policies in response to COVID-19. In a regular meeting of the Webster Town Board of the Town of Webster, Monroe County, New York, held Town Board Meeting Room 1002 Ridge Road in the Town of Webster, New York, on the second day of April 2020. At 7:30 p.m., there were present Supervisor Thomas J. Flaherty, Councilman John J. Cahill, Councilman William G. Abbott, Councilwoman Patricia T. Cataldi, and Councilman Barry A. Dean. The following resolution was offered by and is being moved to adoption. Whereas, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the President of the United States has declared a national emergency. And whereas the Governor of the State of New York and the County Executive of the County of Monroe have declared states of emergency existing in their respective jurisdictions, and whereas the Governor of the State of New York and the County Executive of Monroe have issued various executive orders regarding travel, community contact, and employment, which orders have effect upon the municipal employees of the Town of Webster, and whereas in response to these declarations and executive orders, the Town of Webster has instituted measures and created practices and policies to effect and comply with the directives and suggestions to combat the consequences of the COVID-19 outbreak. And whereas these actions by the Town of Webster are classified as a Type 2 action under Section 617.5C of Title 6 of the New York Codes, Rules and Regulations, and the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and have been determined that these actions will not have a significant adverse effect upon the environment, and whereas it is in the public interest and in the interest of the employees of the Town of Webster to set forth and publicly announce the policies and practices put in place by the Town of Webster in response to COVID-19 emergency. Now, therefore, it be it resolved that the following statements state the policies and practices of the Town of Webster in response to the COVID-19 emergency. Number one, the Webster Town government employs FAQs during COVID-19 pandemic that were published to the employees as of Friday, March 27th for the full-time employees. Salary will be paid for the 2-week period of March 9th through 13th and 16th through 20th when they get their paycheck on Friday, March 27th. They will get their normal bi-weekly pay even if they did not work some of those days to mandated facility shutdowns. The only caveat to that would be if they already had vacation time scheduled during that 2-week period. How will they be paid for the 2-week period of March 23rd through 27th and March 30th through April 3rd when they get their paycheck on
Thursday, April 9th. They will be paid their normal biweekly pay, even if they did not work some or all of those days due to mandated facility shutdowns and/or 100% non-essential state mandates. For the employees who do work, the pay classification will be regular pay. For the employees who do not work, their pay classification will be a special town pandemic code that is intended to position the town best for reimbursement from a government agency in the future. This time will not hit any of the employees' sick or vacation or other bank time. Two caveats to this. If the employee already had vacation time scheduled during that 2-week period, in that case, vacation time will be charged. If the time off falls into town pandemic policy, then the time off may be classified as something other than town pandemic code and hit their vacation or sick time. How the full-time employee will get paid in the 2-week period of April 6th through 10th and 13th through 17th. At this time, it is unknown. The employees will be kept up to details as they arise. Some factors that will drive this. The 10 working days, up to 80 hours of federal pandemic relief monies for both full-time and part-time employees become available as of Thursday, April 2nd. Employers are given flexibility on when to make available, and it is the intention of the town of Webster to make these available on Monday, April 6th, to tie to the normal bi-weekly payroll cycle. There are 6 court categories that would qualify an employee to get paid by these federal pandemic relief monies. Eligibility for pandemic time is based upon the following. 1. Is subject to a federal, state, or local quarantine or isolation order related to COVID-19. 2. Has been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine related to COVID-19. 3. Is experiencing COVID-19 symptoms and is seeking a medical diagnosis. 4. Is caring for an individual subject to an order described in 1 or a self-quarantine as described in 2. 5. Is caring for a child whose school or place of care is closed or a child care provider is unavailable for reasons related to COVID-19 or would deal only with, sorry, I got caught up in that. Would deal only with 2-week period, but the employee under this category would be eligible for up to 10 more weeks under FMLA. 6. Is experiencing any other substantially similar condition specifically by the Secretary of Health and Human Services in consultation with the Secretaries of Labor and Treasury. While COVID-19 situation continues on, it is the intention of Webster Town to pay all full-time staff regardless of whether they worked or not. However, this is subject to change based on future events, including but not limited to state, federal mandates, town board resolutions, and union items. Year-round part-time employees of the town of Webster, how they will get paid for the 2-week period of March 9th through 13th and 16th through 20th. They will get paid their normal bi-weekly pay even if they did not work some of those days due to mandated facility shutdowns. If they didn't work some of those days, their pay will be an average bi-weekly hours they have worked for the past 6 months. Only caveat to the above that is that if the employee already had vacation time scheduled during that 2-week period, then their vacation time bank would be hit. How will the part-time employee get paid for the 2-week period of March 23rd through 27th and March 30th through April 3rd? For employees who do work, the pay classification will be regular pay. For employees who do not work, it is suggested that the employee not file for unemployment, or if they already have, cancel or rescind their application. The town intends to pay the employee the commensurate unemployment benefits they would have gotten based on their specific situation. Why is the town going to pay non-working part-timers their commensurate unemployment benefits? 2 reasons. 1, the town is essentially self-insured for unemployment. In such, they reimburse the New York State dollar for dollar on any unemployment benefits one of its laid-off employees makes. 2, the town would rather A, eliminate the middleman of New York State in this process, and B, not put the non-working part-time employee through the process of applying for and receiving unemployment benefits. The number of unemployment applications in the last few weeks will make that process potentially a very onerous one, and one where the actual benefit payments may not come for weeks, if not months, to the employee. For non-working part-time employees, the paid classification will be a special town pandemic code that is intended to position the town best for reimbursement from government agency in the future. How will the part-time employee get paid in the 2-week period of April 6th through 10th and 13th through 17th? Unknown at this time. Employees will be kept up to date as details arise. Some factors that will drive this. Permanent part-time employees. They will be eligible for the 10 working days, up to 80 hours of federal pandemic relief monies, and I've already read off the 6 situations that affects. Let's see. For this, the $2.2 trillion federal stimulus package that was proposed and passed last week has aspects of it tied to unemployment benefits. The town will continue to try to get clarity on this and any other future mandates legislation that may affect the non-working part-time employees and communicate to them and act accordingly. Webster Department of Public Works, non-essential construction per Executive Order 202.13. On Friday, March 27th, Governor Cuomo issued a statement on the immediate cessation of non-essential construction. The statement was codified in Executive Order number 202.6 at SEQ. I hope I said that correctly, Attorney Genesi?
You did, Supervisor.
Thank you. And as modified and amended as of Monday, March 30th. Ultimately, developers, contractors, their employees, and subcontractors will need to determine their own interpretation on this executive order as it pertains to whether a project is considered essential or non-essential, or if non-essential, they can continue working on it during this cessation period. Please consult with your legal counsel on this. The Town of Webster Department of Public Works will perform the following functions during this cessation period. 1, they will be issuing new building permits. Webster Town Hall is currently closed to the public. Application documents and requirements for a building permit can be accessed at www.ci.webster.ny/171-permit-information-applications. Completed applications and supporting documentation can be submitted by the following options. 1, deliver to Town Hall and utilize the drop box on the Ridge Road entrance side of the building. 2, scan and email those application documents and supporting documents to building BUILDEPT@ci.webster.ny.us. 3, United States Postal Service mail to Town Hall. Town will also be doing progress inspections and certificate of occupancy inspections on properties not inhabited. Developers and contractors will need to coordinate with the town inspector the date and time of such inspections to assure the town inspector will be the only person in the property during the inspection. The Town of Webster Department of Public Works will not be performing the following functions during this cessation period. They will not be doing certificates of completion on properties currently inhabited. The Town of Webster Department of Public Works and its inspectors will not be the ultimate determining authority on violations of these executive orders. Initially, In the event any real or perceived violations of the cessation of non-essential construction per Executive Order 202.3 or others is suspected by anyone, including but not limited to a citizen, employee of the contractor, etc., they are encouraged to contact the local Rochester office of the New York State Attorney General, hereafter NYSAG, at 144 Exchange Boulevard, Suite 200, Rochester, New York, 14614. Phone number is 585-546-7430. Fax number 585-546-7514. The Webster Department of Public Works will then work with the NYSAG in any capacity the NYSAG mandates on a specific violation. If any questions for the Town of Webster Department of Public Works on this, please call 585-872-7036, or you may also contact Empire State Development at phone number 1518-474-8390. Wow, we're getting there. 4, pandemic policy for employee illness and absence. In the event of an exposure or suspected exposure to COVID-19, the Town of Webster will refer to the guidelines set forth by the CDC and the Monroe County Department of Health. An employee who is well but is uncomfortable being at work due to the COVID-19 pandemic may make a request to their supervisor to be absent from work. This will be considered a voluntary. The Monroe County Health Department or the Town of Webster will inform fellow employees of their possible exposure to COVID-19 in the workplace, but maintain confidentiality as required by the Americans with Disabilities Act. Employees exposed to a coworker with confirmed COVID-19 should contact their doctor to conduct a risk assessment of their potential exposure. Employees who appear to have an acute respiratory illness symptoms, i.e. cough, shortness of breath, upon arrival to work or become sick during the day will be separated from other employees and be sent home immediately. Sick employees should cover their noses and mouths with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, or an elbow or shoulder if no tissue is available. Employees will be paid for this absence from their sick, vacation, personal, or comp time. Federal and or state legislation may provide relief from using sick, vacation, personal, or comp time. In the event that an employee receives a positive diagnosis, additional state and or federal COVID-19 compensation may be available. Employees should notify Human Resources or their supervisor and stay home if they are sick. Employees who have had symptoms of acute respiratory illness are recommended to stay home. Symptoms of COVID-19 may include coughing, sneezing, shortness of breath, and or fever. Early symptoms could include a combination of cough, body aches, fatigue, and chest tightness. Some people may not develop a fever until several days into the illness. If an employee is tested positive for COVID-19 or has developed symptoms of COVID-19, including early or mild symptoms, which may include a combination of cough, body aches, fatigue, and chest tightness, that employee should not return to work until 1, there has been no fever for at least 72 hours, that is 3 full days of no fever without the use of medicines that reduce fevers, and 2, other symptoms have improved, for example, cough or shortness of breath have improved, and 3, at least 7 days have passed since the symptoms first appeared. In the event that the employee is not sick but may have been exposed to in close contact with someone who is sick, the employee may be asked to 1, seek medical treatment from a healthcare provider in the case of an exposure to a confirmed case of COVID-19. They should monitor themselves for symptoms described above. 2, if they develop symptoms, they should contact a provider or clinic first to get instructions before going to a health office, hospital, or urgent care. If they have a medical emergency, they should tell the 911 dispatcher they are under quarantine for possible exposure to a case of COVID-19. 3, stay out of work for 14 days so they don't spread the disease to healthy coworkers.
orders.
That aforesaid have been and are currently in effect, that the aforesaid will be amended as needed to conform to any future executive orders issued by either the governor of the state and the county executive of the state. That would be the resolution that is being proposed to this board.
Second.
That was your motion, Supervisor Flaherty?
That is my motion.
Supervisor Flaherty? Aye.
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Now, we did not, at the beginning of the meeting, reiterate that the public can call in to area code 585-872-7011 if they would like to comment or ask any questions. Because where we have two more items on the agenda, I think those last two items are going to end up being tabled. And Jeff Benway, if you can explain why on each one of them?
The one thing you asked is the gentleman with the fence, that he would contact his neighbor. She's handicapped, he hasn't been able to see her, mostly because she's probably a little nervous about talking to the neighbors. But he did talk to her today, and he has to be tabled for another 2 weeks. The other one is the life cycle. The fire department is still waiting for an official report from their architects to say what the occupancy limits can be. And then Art's also waiting for the chemical summaries of what materials they use. So both have requested to be tabled.
Are they going to do an inspection of that building? Art or fire marshal?
They've walked through it. They're having the applicant is hiring their own architect to do a summary of the what the hazard classification is inside the building. So they're doing that on their own. We're waiting for those results.
Yeah. I mean, either Art or...
Art is waiting for the...
Are they going to actually do an on-site inspection?
Of course. Yes.
I thought we had discussed that before.
Yeah, we did.
They haven't done that inspection yet.
No, we just want to get all the data together.
Okay.
And they are...
I didn't know whether you have to wait until all this, the architect sends whatever drawings are in. We can't do that in the...
We got the drawings for the sprinkler system. They just haven't installed them yet. So they would go out.
They're going to wait till all that's done?
Correct.
I got you. Okay.
I don't know if I can make a resolution to table both of them at one time. Do we do them one at a time?
One at a time.
One at a time.
Thank you. You know, we're into April. My 3 months, I should have this down by now, shouldn't I, Barbara?
You have to use your social distancing voice because I can't hear you over
Can you
there.
hear me?
You gotta use your social distancing voice.
Do you want me to talk a little bit quieter or louder?
Louder. Thank you.
Okay, we need a motion to table the resolution to consider a licensing agreement to install a fence through a 6-foot easement at 502 Lake Road, and you are tabling it for 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
Okay, that would be to the April 16th, 2020 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi. Aye. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
So I think I got this. I can say it now, Barb, but thank you for saying the first one. I make a motion to table the resolution to consider the issuance of an industrial use permit at 1720 Bolter Industrial Park Company, i.e. Life Cycle.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
That commences the formal agenda tonight. We'll wait a couple minutes to see if any calls come in.
you know, I will say this, the long resolution that was just read out is something that has been seen by pretty much all of our employees now, especially the one about how they are getting paid. I'd like to think we've done a really good job at the town level of communicating with them through the department heads. I do believe that the number of our employees that are working at home far exceed any of the other towns. Our IT department, Steve Peace and John Camille, unbelievable job.
On short notice also.
What's that?
Very quickly.
Oh my God, unbelievable.
Lightning speed.
Yes, it really is, and I mean, it's funny, I talked to a couple of the employees today that are working out of their house, and they're like, you know, this is really, I mean, the phones are working great, the computer access is working great. I do get a kick, and they almost laugh, they're like, you know, that 16-digit password is a pain, but they understand why Steve and IT had to make it a really long password, because once you leave this building, your exposure to getting hacked into exponentially goes up. So he really has done an amazing job. I will also say that, you know, we've really said to the department heads, you know, we need to figure out a way to make use of this downtime during COVID-19. And I really am impressed how a lot of them are stepping up to the challenge, thinking outside the box. You know, I've only been here for 3 months, but in the first couple of months, department heads were saying how they're understaffed and they're so far behind on things. I felt like I was back in private industry. That's kind of what we always were, understaffed and far behind on things. So I said, let's turn this lemon situation into lemonade. Let's get caught up on things. And they're doing that. Also, some of the employees who, because of Governor Cuomo's mandates and or facility shutdowns, who their job can't be done from their home. Several of them in the last couple days, through their department heads, have said, is there any work that we could do for the town, for other departments? We would like to work. Yeah. And these are employees that know, based on what I just read off in a resolution, they know unequivocally they're getting paid even if they're not working. And I think that says a lot, that they do want to come in and do something productive for the town, even if it's at another department. Now, you know, we'll have to take a look at that, Charlie, and, you know, every action has a reaction. I don't suppose somebody who works at the library that we can put over working at the sewer department. There might be some liability issues there.
They might not volunteer for that one either.
Well, we know you're the liaison of that department, so, you know.
As I said, they
She's
might
been
not
selling it
volunteer.
pretty well lately, so.
She really has.
Throw the PPE on and have at it.
You know, and I will say that, and any of the board members who want to comment on this, you know, this is one of those situations where we are getting calls, emails, texts, social media things to town hall that basically run the gamut on both ends of the spectrum. You know, you're too tight on this. This is crazy. We should, you know, open up things and let people hang out and have parties and this and that. On the other end of the spectrum, we're getting a lot of complaints about, you know, geez, I drove by in the park the other day and there was 7 people standing there and they're not 6 feet apart. It's an unusual situation. Chief Rieger, police chief, you know, we've talked about, because of the way these mandates have come down, and Charlie Genesi, our town attorney, they really don't tell you how you enforce these things. They're suggestions in a lot of ways. Certainly the mandates of facility shutdown, that's ironclad. But social distancing, a term that I don't think any of us even heard of 1 month ago, and now it seems to dominate our life, can be a very subjective thing. I think the town is trying to take a very common sense approach to it. Patty, you worked with Karen, our communications director, on what I thought was a very clear, concise communication that we put out there on the web, we put out there as far as, you know, use common sense.
I have it in front of me.
Boy, if you could read it, Patty, of course you're prepared.
Please. Please do.
Someone put this in my folder. I don't take credit for it being prepared. In short, it states we've been receiving many calls and emails at Town Hall with concerns regarding crowding at parks and stores. Other people are concerned that some stores that remain open shouldn't be considered essential. None of these things are considered to be code violations and therefore cannot be enforced by town officials or our Webster Police Department. The only solution to this problem is that we all work together. We are hearing from the Monroe County officials that our social distancing precautions are making a difference. However, this is not the time to relax, but it's the time to double down on those efforts. We call on each of you to act responsibly. Please limit your visits to stores. And when you do go, don't take the entire family. We know that you are all feeling cooped up, but every time you leave your house, you are risking an exposure to the COVID-19 virus. Stay home not only for yourself, but for your loved ones. We encourage getting outside for your physical and mental health. Our parks and trails will remain open as long as we see people practicing social distancing. Please do not use these spaces for gatherings. Our open space is beautiful, but perhaps now is the time to take a walk around your neighborhood with your immediate family only. And we're sure that we can get through these challenging times if we just all work together. I would like to add that I drove by North Ponds Park tonight. I actually came to Town Hall that way purposefully. And people were doing a great job of maintaining distancing. I was pleased to see that because I've seen a lot of reports on social media. I've heard a lot of chatter about, again, people are gathering and, oh, this one's too close to that one. And, everybody's really sensitive about this right now. And I think, again, our parks are great, but we have neighborhoods we can walk around in too. You don't have to leave your house to go to one of our parks or trails. I saw another comment on social media. Maybe we could start closing down streets like New York City is doing so that they can actually walk in their neighborhoods. Well, I challenge anyone, unless they live on Ridge Road, Lake Road's a little dicey, I get that. But I challenge anyone else in this town that they can't get out and walk in their neighborhood. And I'm sure we're going to hear that we need sidewalks to do that. I'm sure that's coming next. I haven't heard it yet.
Well, now
But
we will,
again-
you mentioned it.
Exactly. But look, you can walk and be sensible and follow pedestrian rules. Walk on the opposite side of the street as traffic and just be safe about it, but be sensible.
Yeah.
This is not the time to be out there and be in public if you don't have to be. It's a very serious situation, to the point where I do know that some cities are now suggesting or requiring that people wear masks in public. I mean, it's a new era. It's something we've not seen before, but we have to not only keep ourselves safe, but our families and look out for one another.
Thanks, Patty. John?
I'm fortunate to live in the village, and we have a lot of people out walking. I'm sure you see this every day, Patty. I've seen more people walking with their family in the past probably week than I've seen at any time in the last couple of years anyway. So, people are definitely practicing social distancing, and we are fortunate that our parks have remained open. I've read a couple messages on social media that some places their parks are closed, but we're very happy that we are keeping our parks open, and I am too. And I know we've had a few complaints about one particular park, and we've addressed that. But I think it's important to remember that there's a lot of young people in Webster, not only in the village but the town, and these kids, are like thoroughbred horses. They need to get out and run, okay? And the parents need to be cognizant of that. And if I hate to see people overreact to the point where, young kids are at a park and they're expressing, they're following the social distancing, and someone that may be hypersensitive to social distancing may, lash out at the kids. Well, let's use some common sense and in both directions with respect to the kids that are practicing social distancing. But, there's a lot of opportunity for us to get out there, and as Patty said, just let's use some common sense and, keep our distance as we should. But at the same time, relish the fact that the community of Webster has a great deal of open space that we can enjoy. And as we've all observed, they are enjoying our parks at this time, especially with the break in the weather we've had in the last few days.
Bill, they've covered it. Let's not beat a horse to death here. We can only do so much. And if people don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. It's that simple. God, I got to get private lessons on being succinct from Mr. Abbott, don't I? You charge like $100 an hour to me, Bill. Barry?
He's not the one known as the verbose Irish.
You are. And I am Irish. I know you are.
Pretty much, everybody's said, it's common sense and pay attention to what it is you're doing. I mean, there's only, like Bill said, there's only so much we can do. And we don't want to close parks, and it wouldn't be necessary if everybody just, follows some common sense. As you said, I live on a side street, and all the young families that are on both sides of my neighborhood, they're all out walking.
Yeah.
I mean, people I've never seen before from 2 streets over walking up and down. A lot of people out on the road.
It's nice to see the people out
And
there.
also, if you can get to it, you can also like to walk the bike path. There's a bike path that goes from one end of town to the other.
Right.
And there's not a lot of people on it. That's what I use when I go for a walk, because I can get to it fairly easily. But other than that, wife's got me doing yard work. One of Joe's guys delivered a load of mulch for me here. I bought a load of mulch here a couple of weeks ago. That's all good now.
All right.
I had to fire my son today. And I hired him to rake up the leaves, and he's doing a great job. And then 2 doors down, the guy was down there with the lawnmower, and he had the zero turn with the big vacuum on it. So I had a little chat with him. I mean, my son's doing a good job. He doesn't like to doesn't like to rake leaves too much. And who does?
He's a teenager.
Well, yeah, I know. He'd rather be at the box, right? Practicing his lacrosse. So, I had a little chat with the guy, and okay, what do you think it's gonna, to do this over at my place? And he gave me a price, and I just jumped right on it because it was less money I was gonna have to pay my son by the time he was done. So I had to run to the
Always
bank.
a fiscal conservative, Jack.
Yeah.
I do like that about you.
So I had to run to the bank, get some cash, and I get back, and he's doing a great job. I walk in the house, and there's my son in the kitchen. I go, "You're fired, you know that, right?" He's like, "Yeah, the lawnmower guy told me." But
We should note that our playgrounds
are closed. Yes. Parks are open, playgrounds are closed. And did you want to talk about that a little bit?
Our philosophy on that was that if you a playground is a defined area, and we will have signs that I think were installed tomorrow that are saying that the playground is closed. We made a conscious decision to not put police tape around those. Didn't like the optics of that at all. Look, if someone's going to blast through and play on the playground, they can get through the police tape, believe me. In fact, the size of those kids, they just are going under it. They don't even have to duck. All right? But we also looked at other defined space places in town-owned parks. And up at Ridgecrest, the old rec center, there is the box lacrosse there. There is the skate park. Those are defined areas. We are closing them. But as far as fields and parks and all that, and trails, those aren't defined areas. I mean, you could argue they're defined. A field, a football field is 100 yards by whatever, but, we're not going to... We expect people to use common sense
And it's such a big open space at Ridgecrest with the field out back, and you've got the same bunch of kids get together pretty much every day, and you know, practice little cross throwing and shooting, and you know, they have no choice but to use, you know, social distancing when they're playing lacrosse. So it's important, and from a personal standpoint, to leave that open, because these kids have lost their lacrosse season for the year, and you know, it gives them opportunity to get together and you know, and get the stress out, and at the same time practice a game that they really, really love.
Well, and I think the other idea around closing the playgrounds is that you actually have equipment that kids who could be coughing or sneezing, and then they're grabbing the bar of this or they're going down the slide on that, and we can't disinfect those surfaces.
Right.
And we've been told multiple times that this virus can live on hard surfaces. We just can't protect them from that, and we're doing our best to keep them away.
Chuck E. Cheese's.
You know, Bill, I usually look to your water for when it's time. You don't have, it is gone, okay, all right, but
And the phone has not rung.
it is not wrong, so we're gonna get everybody out of here. Barbara,
Yes,
we always end with, do you have any?
I do have something
I
really,
bet
really
you do.
important. I have two really important things, and I was surprised Joe didn't mention it. The outlet bridge is closed. So don't bother going down Lake Road, because you're just gonna be turning around, right? Okay.
Right.
So, and I actually took a walk down there yesterday from my house, and it's a 2-mile walk, and I wanted to make sure it was closed. But anyways, what I really have to tell everybody is that Monroe County finally made a wonderful executive decision to charge only 3% on any balance of taxes due all the way through April 30th. So any balance that you have due on your town and county tax is only going to be the base amount of the tax due times 3%. If you don't know what you owe and you want to find out, the best thing to do is to go to www.monroecounty.gov or call the town tax office number, and someone will call you back. They may not call you back right away. We are taking messages and calling people back when we have available people to do that. And the most important thing that we're trying to stress is that no one can come in the office, and you may mail your payment, but we really would appreciate it if you just pay it online through the Monroe County website at www.monroecounty.gov, so we don't have any interaction with you. And the county has decided that they will be absorbing the 3% charge that you normally incur on your charge card. So there is no fee to pay it online through the website.
That's great.
Okay? And that is also online. We have it advertised too. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
We'll leave you with this before we check out. 2 shout-outs. One, I can't believe how many people have reached out to me saying they want to volunteer to help, that are 80-year-old people that are saying, I'll drive food to people. And I'm like, you know, buddy, the world should have more people like you in it. Tell you the truth. But I can't take them up on that offer. Because those are the people that most should be home, that we're protecting from this. But it is interesting to see, I mean, that, you know, the greatest generation, whatever you call it, that the people that are reaching out to volunteer are the ones that really need us to protect them right now. But it's just not in their DNA to, you know, they're the helpers. They're the ones that come and help. Great town we live in. Along those lines, the second shout out is, I gotta tell you, Barry Howard at the Webster Chamber of Commerce, he is doing a phenomenal job. He's working night and day, dissecting these stimulus packages and working with the 300 members of the Webster Chamber of Commerce, pretty much all of them small businesses that are hurting badly right now. And he is advocating on their behalf, helping them with the different applications, because believe me, I can speak from my own experience. My wife's business has been shut down. When you look at the forms and things to fill out, it can be very daunting to someone who's not an accountant. And most business owners aren't accountants. So I really want to thank Barry. We're a very lucky town to to have a Chamber of Commerce and a CEO like him, because not every town and every city had something like that. So if you think that you want to call and complain about Webster, and that's your prerogative, but I'll tell you, take a look around. It's a phenomenal community. It really is. And I want to thank all the people that have shown me that in the last couple weeks. So
He does do a great job, and I just want to thank all the staff. And I know that yourself and our staff have been working pretty much around the clock. I've been on a couple of conference calls, but I think you're on at least 2 or 3 a day. I know I've tried to get a hold of you on Saturdays and Sundays. The phone's always busy. I get a phone call back on a Sunday, maybe late, about 9 o'clock, and then, then on a
are you
Monday.
taking this personally, John?
I feel a little neglected every time, I'm just saying. But no, the camaraderie and the commitment that's been made by, everybody to get through this and to get things lined up and succinct and, communicate to the employees. You just read about an 8-page resolution. That just didn't come to fruition in 2 days or a day. I mean, those discussions have been ongoing for at least 2 weeks now. So, yeah, a lot of hard work out there to keep people safe. So, thank you for that.
Thank you, Charlie Genesi. And with that, Bill's water is done and this meeting is over.